Hi, good afternoon. Welcome everyone. In case you just joined us, we are being joined today by Sarah Pallett, who is the Egg Donation and Clinical Relations Lead at Altrui Egg Donation. And they are also part of Apricity Fertility Clinic. So we will be talking all things around egg donation and the benefits in the UK, how the process works, questions you might have. Sarah will be here to answer all of those and to give you more information, which is a fantastic opportunity. I have children thanks to sperm donation, so third-party reproduction and building your family in all kinds of way is so important to be talking about and to give people resources on. So I'm delighted to be welcoming Sarah today. I'm just going to see if she's here because I know that there have been a few tech issues, but hopefully it will work now. Does anyone have questions in advance in the UK? We're also going to be talking about how Altrui works to support people looking for egg donors, how they go above and beyond with their egg donation providers, and the process. And I think lots of people normally do have questions around the process because at the beginning it can feel very overwhelming, it can feel isolating, it's hard to know where to go, where to turn. And so to have these conversations with experts who can hold your hand and take you through the process is really paramount and something that I was missing when I was trying to conceive. So hopefully Sarah is here now. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Just inviting her in. There we go. We're going live now. Hi to those who are joining. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, how are you? Apologies.
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Not good, thank you. Apologies, just had a couple of IT issues there, but we've got there in the end.
Oh, absolutely. It's lovely to see you again. We haven't been live for a while. Please do introduce yourself. I've given you a little introduction, but we'd love to hear more about your role at Altrui, and then obviously to talk about egg donation and the benefits of doing so in the UK.
Okay, so I'm Sarah Pallett. I'm the Egg Donation and Clinical Relations Lead at Altrui. I've worked in fertility and specialise particularly with egg donation and surrogacy for over 30 years.
Amazing. So in terms of why people choose to have egg donation in the UK, what reasons do you normally see?
I think there's a couple of fundamental issues really why people look at the UK. One is the fact that our processes around fertility in all fertility treatments, and especially egg donation, and is highly regulated by the HFEA. So, and also that any child conceived through donor gametes, be that egg or sperm, once they reach an age of 18, they're able to go to the HFEA to gain more information about their donor. It's a real sensitive area. And so, you know, not only is the HFEA and that regulating us, those are the ones that obviously oversee this as well. And lots of couples, single women, men, all want to have that opportunity to choose if they want to disclose information to their child about whether they were conceived through donor gametes. And also it's good, and if they do, often it means that that child feels much more grounded.
Yes, there's been a lot of sort of psychological literature, hasn't there, around people being open about how children may have been conceived. And I know that regulations in the UK are for open donors. So do you still see a lot of egg donors coming forward to donate, knowing that there is that openness to it?
Yeah, we do. We at Apricity, we recruit donors from all over the UK, and you know, donors want to come, they want to give. All of our donors are altruistic, and they just, you know, they're wanting to be able to, you know, get someone started on their journey to having a family, and it's just that desire to help. as much as anything. We know, you know, when the changes came, there was the concern that it may slow down or prevent people coming forward to donate, but that's not been the case. We get lots of donors, and as I said, all of our donors are altruistic.
Absolutely. And in terms of the screening process and profiling, how does that work at Altruy?
Well, screening wise, obviously, again, this is set by what requirements there are. So we screen exactly the same as any clinic or anyone around, you know, certain things such as chromosome analysis and that. But we differ in a little bit in that we try to make the service as personal as possible. So when it comes to matching, you know, not only do we look at the basic characteristics of both recipient and donor, we work very much around the whole person. And so look at things that, you know, such as their hobbies, where they are in their life, are they studying, are they working? We look at what their education background is, why they want to donate is, you know, because we want to make sure they're donating for the right appropriate reasons. And we can share that all with our recipients. And we actually take it a little bit further on our matching process. You know, we also, when we think we found the ideal match, we share an image, a picture of that donor as a baby or a toddler.
Okay, so people can see the donor that they might be choosing.
They
as
can't them as an adult, but as a little one. And I think this is where we're that bit different, and this comes to, you know, particularly if you're giving the information to any donor conceived child, it's building that image of the donor, so they and their parents obviously get that better feel for that donor, and also, you know, able to say, look, this is who this amazing woman was and why she donated, and this is what she looked like as a child.
What other information do people get through Altruy about the egg donor that they might be choosing?
We provide them with all the information that the donor is willing to share, up to the point, obviously, as long as it's non-identifying. So the donors build a profile, as I said, about themselves, why they're donating, why, you know, what their interests are, what their likes, what their dislikes, all things like that. And when we find a match, we share that with them. So their recipient will receive those details and details of their characteristics. And so, you know, they have that themselves, so building that image about that donor, but also if they want to share it with any future child, then they can do.
And what about medical history and things like that?
We take, from the point where we're onboarding our donors, we take a medical history and everything, and obviously there's lots of things that they have to be able to be accepted on. If there is anything in the medical history, and we take the medical history not only of themselves but their siblings, their parents, everything. So if there is anything that, you know, may be a little concern, then what we do is on a weekly basis, we have a donor review meeting to discuss these lovely donors and is it okay for them to proceed or not. So we have quite strict criteria for a donor to be onboarded.
That makes sense. What about genetic screening as well? Or
We
genetic
So, yeah, we do what is regulatory required as a standard screening, but we also have the facility to, if a recipient did wish to have it, to do extended screening.
Oh, brilliant. And do some people wish to do that sometimes?
Some do. It's very much down to a personal choice.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, we don't do it as a routine because it's not a regulatory requirement.
And in terms of people who are looking for egg donation in the UK, what are the types of scenarios you normally see in terms of where people come to in their process, which stage of that process? And do you feel like there is normally with egg donation a journey of a woman attempting with her own eggs before reaching a decision of going down the egg donation route?
We have a varied amount of recipients coming through, which makes my job so amazing.
Yeah.
From heterosexual couples, same-sex couples, single male and females, and reaches in various stages. You know, for some, it could be that they had treatment themselves that's not been successful, and this is now what's been recommended for them. We have couples and women that have had some treatment and they're still undergoing treatment, but it's not been successful so far. So they're looking to sort of what their next options may be to achieving a family. And obviously for some couples, like same-sex male couples or single males, it's their route to get in and being able to create embryos with the view to using surrogacy in the future.
And I guess, well, because I have sperm donor conceived children, and my husband's infertile, and I guess the kind of acceptance and the process going into that may change in terms of people's mindset and their sort of requirements and what they might be looking for and what they want to know about the donor might change depending on their scenario, perhaps.
It does, and we very much pace it at their needs and wants. Some couples, when they start and enter the route of donation, want just the basics. We just want to know the characteristics, and so that's all they want to do. And then sometimes it can be they have the characteristics and it's, oh yeah, we'd like a little bit more, you know. Other couples are, no, we want as much information as you can possibly give us right from the onset. So we very much work with the recipients and pace it at their speed.
That's really great to hear. If people want to learn more about Altrui and Apricity, please do click our link in bio. You can find out everything there, and until the end of December, they're kindly offering our readers 15% off the donor search and match fee with the code FHH15. So go to our link in bio to find out more and search around, and you can use that code. I wanted to ask you more around the sort of pros of seeking or having treatment with egg donation in the UK. We've talked about the open donation piece, but what else would you say is an important factor for people when they're looking?
I think that there are couples that obviously look at going abroad versus the UK. I think the key messages here are to consider, you know, how much you want to tell any future child, because you're not going to have that ability to do that. Also, how much information you want about your donor. In the UK, we, as I just said, we share as much information as we possibly can. Abroad, is often that a recipient will just provide their characteristics and they're not informed anything about the donor. They're just told they've got a match, and that is it. Also, sometimes we look at things, obviously this day and age, finance is a thing for everyone, and we think, oh, you know, there may be cheaper options out there. But what I would say is, you know, there's sometimes a lot of hidden expense, and also in particular the expense obviously of traveling abroad and everything. And also then, if the clinic you're going to is not affiliated with any clinic in the UK, you can often feel lost and abandoned when you're having to look for where to go for your scans, how to get your drugs and things like that. So at least in the UK, you know, you've got a team that's going to be there to support you.
Those are all really, really good points. We had a question from someone a little while back. Let me just try and find it, if that's all right, Sarah. They would be interested to know about East Asian egg donors is there a shortage of supply in the UK?
I think generally in the UK, yes, there is. There's a shortage if we look at, the UK as a whole of many ethnicities, and we would encourage donors out there of those ethnicities to speak to friends, speak to family, spread the message, and try and encourage people to come forward, and we find that recipients of certain ethnicities are open to donors that are maybe Caucasian but with darker features and things like that. So it's not to say we don't, and in the UK we don't get donors ethnicities. We do, we just don't get the volume.
But it's worth a conversation with the team, isn't it, to explore
Absolutely.
what your are and to have all of these questions answered for you personally to help with your personal search. So please do reach out to the team at Altrui and Apricity. As I said, we've linked up their website in our bio, so please head over and have a look, because I know that you and the team are just so helpful and supportive when it comes to third-party reproduction and egg donation. So, I agree that going with a trusted expert, trusted resource is huge importance when you're deciding, and that's why we do events like this with leaders in the field where people can be taking away resources that are credible and trustworthy to explore options. And also in terms of Altrui's expertise, how long have you been doing this for? And is there anything else that you want to let us know about in terms of the direction of where egg donation's headed in the future and what things are looking like for next year?
I think we at Altrui has been established for over 10 years, so it's a very established way of seeking egg donation. We are a very experienced team. As I said, myself has been in this field for over 30 years, as another colleague of mine, and we've all worked within fertility for a long time and specialising in egg donation. Egg donation, I think, is, it is, women are seeking egg donation, men and couples, and we continue to strive to help as many couples and as quickly as we can. We look at matching a donor depending on ethnicity with a recipient requirements within 4 to 6 weeks. So
I was going to ask about timing. What happens when someone picks up the phone to you at the beginning of the process?
So from the beginning of the process, that someone's able to go to our website and book directly a call with one of the team on a date and time that is convenient to hit them. Once we have that call, we will go through how the process works with Altrui and Apricity, and if they sign up with us, we also discuss what they're looking for in the donor and what are important features and everything for them. And then we start to look for that donor. And as I said, hopefully we can match them within 4 to 6 weeks. And then from that point, depending on their pathway, we will then get them with our extended medical and nursing team, who will see them and their donor all the way through to the point of creating embryos.
That's really great to know. And might some people look at several donors before making a decision?
Some do, often may look at more than one. This is where our expertise comes in. We like to think we have done match recipients extremely quickly, and majority of the time we get it right first or second time. If the first match we offer is not quite right, we would sit with the recipients and say, okay, what bit wasn't quite there, so we can keep fine-tuning what we're saying and seeing until we find them that ideal match. For some, what they think is important or whatever from the onset, it may change, and we change with them. when we're looking for our search. But that's where we spend the time at the start to understand them, build their profile, so that we know what we're looking for in that donor that's important, and therefore hopefully get it right the first time.
That's brilliant, because when my husband and I were searching for a donor, we were doing the search ourselves, and it did feel very overwhelming. And it was kind of like, where do we start? How do we know we've narrowed down the right donors? What's important to us? And so I guess having a support network there of experts such as Altrui, who can ask the right questions to inform what you might want to think about or consider,
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
smoothens the process and makes you sort of work out your options for you, or with you rather.
Absolutely. And that's where our team is so important. You know, we're a smallish team at this end. We work and meet on a daily basis, so we're communicating all the time about our recipients and what their needs are, and making sure that we're looking at that donor, understanding the donor, what they're like as a person as well, and putting the two together.
Fantastic. Sarah, that's been so helpful. And I think you've explained really well how you go above and beyond. And for anyone who's just joined or watching now, please head to our link in bio. Altrui are offering 15% discount on their donor search and match fee, which is amazing, until the end of this month, November. So you can use code FHH15 if you'd like to check that out. The link is in our bio. And great to learn more about the process, how it works. Anything you want to say before we finish today? Anything that you think people might want to consider?
I think a massive thank you for yourself for hosting. But if you are about to set out on that journey of needing an egg donor, just reach out to us, have a call and have a chat. And sometimes it is a big step, you know, it's a daunting step. It can be moving from your own treatment and to this, but we're here to support and here to have a chat. Just feel free to put that call. That call is it's free of charge. So, you know, please just have a chat with the team, and they're there to support and help you.
That's great. Great advice to empower yourself, find out more, and then make a decision based on that.
Definitely.
Really appreciate your time today, Sarah. Thank you so much. And thanks to those who have joined.
No problem. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.